Farescape Engineers. This is the inspection of the staircase. Now the staircase, we have rust here, so I got to change all these bolts out. Change. Again, some of these fasteners are in good order, and so we can either load test or offer an opinion affidavit. This same thing here. We've got rust in there. We got to get this all rusted out. New bolts, seal it up with silicone. Going down, what we have is, in some cases, they've already changed the bolts, so this is good. This is already certifiable because the fastener is fairly new. It's verified, and I would just get silicone in here to the degree that, you know, we got to stop and we got to connection management these things so that we don't have. So we got some evidence, but when you go down the staircase, you can see they changed out all the bolts on this staircase is changed out, as you can see here. But when you look at it from above, we're not getting rust inside, but these things should be silicone to stop the water from getting in there. But like we did on the other one, we've got rust in the spacers of all these treads. So these treads, basically, when this rod pops out, it's going to let this front flat fall, and that's a trip hazard. Somebody will go down these set of stairs. When this rots out on the inside, and that little 1/4-inch rod right there lets go, this goes. So can't go another 5 years. So another piece of flat underneath, McNichols clip on the front, McNichols clip on the back will hold this together. Okay, so every one of these treads is showing evidence that the connection is rotted all the way through. That's a perfect example right there. Perfect example right there. Okay, so perfect example right there. So we got a lot of rust here. A lot of rust in this. So every one of these treads needs, but every one of the side bolts have been already done, so you don't have to do that. I would silicone shut this so that you can buy some time, and I would start silicone shutting these tops to stop getting water into these things, even though you're going to have a spacer. Encapsulate these rusted connections, including the bolt heads. We recommend that you silicone shut these tops and stop because iron is guaranteed to rust. Okay, going down to the ground, we got a gate here, pre-existing, single action requiring no special knowledge, so that's approved. But now it's into the tar here. You got to get in here and you got to clean all this out, and you got to, once you clean that and properly silicone it or cement it, you got to tar it. And we usually tar 6 to 8 inches of just standard roofing tar. Just goop it in there and get this whole area so that as the snow builds up on this and any dirt and debris gets to it, it doesn't rot out your feet and buys you some time. The other side has the same issue. Okay, same issue on that. That needs to be done. Otherwise, as you can see, somebody already changed the bolts on this thing, and only what I've described here needs to be done. Any questions? Farescape Engineers, 866-649-0333. Farescape Engineers Inspector Summary Video. This is Farescape number 3. Again, just like Farescape 1 and 2, we have issues with the grading, so all the grading needs to be reinforced as 1 and 2. We have original hardware and we have some new hardware hex heads throughout, so those again are certifiable as is in the current condition, but we do have some pre-existing square head bolts that we can render an opinion on as long as we get the disclaimer certificate of liability. And, you know, through both. But again, this is only one floor, but we do have some original squares that can stay. Farescape does need a paint job. Grading does need reinforcement. Treads have all the same problems again. They're rotting out from the inside, so we need to put a spacer in order for you to keep the existing treads. And then anything at the ground, as you can see, dirt is accumulating and rotting your feet. You got to get all that cleaned. And then at best, with a hand, you got to apply tar 6 to 8 inches on the bottom area where it doesn't affect people's feet, and basically get these feet tarred so that it gives you the maximum protection against rot on these Farescapes. Otherwise, the Farescape needs a quick paint job. Very small. This is going to be part of this Farescape system, but she's in good order, and this one doesn't have any rust in any of the major connections other than the gratings and the treads, and so she's ready for a load test, or she can be certified by taking all the remaining ones, and there's not many left here. Change all the fasteners out to new hardware. That way this one will be certified, Otherwise, we can offer an opinion letter on this or opinion affidavit, but the disclaimer of liability will be signed by the owner. Any questions, Fire Escape Engineers? Inspector Summary Video, 866-649-0333. Fire Escape Engineers inspect the summary video. We have a fire escape here that has not passed the examination, needs some work to be done to it. So at this time it could not be certified, and it could not be, we cannot issue an affidavit, an opinion affidavit at this time, and it cannot proceed to a load test. One of the three options on the Mass Building Code: examine, test, or certify. So with that, let me explain some of the things that need to be done on this fire escape to satisfy. Must be structurally sound, must be kept painted, so she does need a paint job, and she does need some structural activity done to it in order to meet the code. So you can spot repair this fire escape and then proceed immediately to a load test, or you can spot repair this fire escape and proceed immediately to an opinion affidavit with a disclaimer of liability associated with the remaining connections that are original to the fire escape. And again, all this to be discussed with the city official to make sure that we're all in agreement as to what's going to be sent to the city official. Let's just stick it on this bracket up here, on this platform, and then I'll do the staircase second. So as you can see, we need to tie the bolts back into the building. We have through bolt verification that we're through bolted back into the building, and some of these have the plates on the inside, so that needs to be verified. And a lot of times it's the nut that comes out to the outside, and we sometimes just have to verify that this is not lag screwed into the building. And if it's lag screwed into the building, and primarily of concern it's just this one, then that needs to be turned into a through bolt, or we need to put a leg on the ground here, you know, to negate the need for that. But again, this needs to be done here. Again, like the other fire escape on the same building, we have a complete failure of the grating. The grating, all these spacers are giving, so we need to either replace the grating, or this grating can be reinforced so that we can negate this issue of the through bolt. I mean of the spacers here, the 1-inch spacers. And that is a piece of 1-inch flat underneath. I need a bracket, a McNichols clip here, 2 clips in the middle, clip on the end, and that is for every piece. So one there, one here, and basically to eliminate this so that it never opens up and your foot never gets stuck inside. Okay, we got original hardware square head bolts on the connections, and they all look pretty good. So if you got an original hardware, which you do have here, and all these connections are original square head bolts, original, no rust inside, that means that you have an option. You can keep them and load test them, or if the city will allow, an opinion affidavit on this with a disclaimer to the owner regarding the liability associated with pre-existing fasteners. We will issue an opinion affidavit, okay, with a disclaimer on the back. Now, fire escape needs a paint job, and so this is just the smaller part of the balcony up front, and this goes with the staircase to the ground. I'm going to now do the staircase.